If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Sorry I had to bring you into the camper today, but it's so cold outside. The battery on the camera keeps dying before I can finish a video. Which brings me to the topic of some of the difficulties of living in a camper in the winter. So this morning I woke up, it's 14 degrees. So people understand what I'm trying to do here. I did not go out and buy a lot of equipment to stay warm while we sleep. A lot of people have made lots of suggestions that maybe we should buy expensive sleeping bags, electric blankets, all kinds of different things. But here's my thinking. If I'm going to spend $1,000 to get through this season of wintertime, and then just have to give it all away because there's no place to store it later, even if I need it again in 5 years, there's just no place to put it. So I would have to hang on to it, and it would get broken or not, tore up or whatever. So I decided I wasn't going to go out and spend a lot of money just to survive this winter. So alternatively, we're using heat at nighttime. What the problem is I don't want to spend all the money that I just saved by not buying equipment on propane costs. So what we do is we turn down the heat real low, and so we keep the inside temperature 35, 40 degrees, and we can stay warm with our blankets. So for those of you that don't understand why we're staying in a cold weather climate yet, I've said it many, many times, and it just surprises me there's so many people that still ask, why don't we go south or someplace warm for the winter? Well, the reason is Carolyn's daughter is going to pass away this winter, sometime this winter. And so we're going to stay with her until she passes away. I wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about some of the difficulties that you may not be aware of, because a lot of people tell me that they're going to live in their car, van, truck, or they're being forced to live in the car, van, truck. And so, I want to make sure that they have a full understanding. Now, a lot of folks are telling me, well, just go south. Well, obviously, we've tried for 2 years in a row now, and it just hasn't worked out. Now, one of the big questions I get is, well, if the Native Americans could do it, surely we can do it with modern technology, saying, in a colder climate in the winter. Well, I heard this so much that I decided to look it up, because obviously, yeah, if Native Americans can make this living in the wintertime so easy, what was their trick? Maybe there's something I could do to make it easier on myself. Well, it's actually not all that true. Native Americans, most Native Americans migrated. Or when it got cold, they would move into a warmer climate. Now, those that did stay through the winter, what they did was they built what was called a longhouse. And these longhouses, the whole tribe could fit into. And so what the theory was is when they went into them, the large tribe, 50 people or whatever, would be able to stay warm just by using the body heat and whatever heating source they could come up with at the time. I can't fit 50 people in the camper. That means I've got to figure out ways to stay warm using propane. A lot of people have suggested buying a wood stove. I'm not going to buy one because there again, I'm adding on costs that I'll hopefully never have to use again. But to talk about some of the difficulties, you get up in the morning, it's 14 degrees like it was this morning, and so, you got to turn on the heat, you got to turn up the heater so it warms up the place. You got to go outside and you got to start the generator. Well, here's what I've noticed with the generator. The generator just doesn't like to start very easily when it gets below 20 degrees. It will start, but you just got to pull and pull and pull. And remember, it's 14 degrees, so you're getting cold. Of course, you just wanted to jump out there, so you didn't put a coat on or gloves or anything. You're just out there. Bathrooms. Yeah, I don't like talking about bathrooms. It's because I don't want to be that guy who talks about, using the bathroom. But your choices are pretty limited when you go to the bathroom. Car, truck. You either go in a bucket, or you use what's called a privy or a vaulted toilet, whatever you want to use. But, being a couple, you don't want to have to use the bathroom in front of the other one. That means one of you have to leave so the other one can use the bathroom, or the one that wants to use the bathroom has to go outside in the woods with the bucket. Well, that's just miserably cold. And if you're using a vaulted toilet, same thing. It's just really cold to have to use. Okay, setting up the camper. I'm telling you, I'm really glad this year that we have this truck camper. It's so easy to set up. Really, all I got to do is just get the generator outside, and then I put a little stabilizer jack. It's actually just a scissor jack, and I put it up underneath the truck so it doesn't bounce around when we're in it, which really helps. So, a couple things I got to do to set it up. But the pop-up camper last year, I remember we had to set that up in the cold. Oh, that was miserable. I mean, it's just, your hands go numb, your feet are cold, your ears are cold, and you're just having to bear through it. It's just, and then you got to get inside and warm the place up. Finding water is becoming more difficult. You know, more city parks are shutting off their water. Gas stations are shutting off their water. Fortunately, we've got, you know, our network of friends. We're from this area, so we're starting to, you know, reconnect with folks that we know, and they all know about Carolyn's daughter being sick, so they're more than willing to help us to get some water. So we can just go in the back of their house and get some water, which has been a big deal. Maintenance of the generator. I had to do maintenance in the generator. I do that every 2 weeks. The generator requires an oil change, air filter cleaned, spark plug cleaned about every 100 hours, which has been, you know, doing it out there in the cold. You see, it's not just the cold, it's the wind chill too. I mean, maybe 14 degrees, but I would bet that the wind chill is probably down towards, you know, single digits. You can't use gloves to, you know, do all that fine work on the generator. So something you got to think about. If you're doing maintenance on your generator or maintenance on your solar panels or whatever you got, it's going to be cold. Oh, this one's important. Tire pressure. Remember, you're out here in the national forest. There's not a lot of resources around. And the colder it gets, the lower your tire pressure gets. You got to keep those tires up because remember, your vehicle has a lot of weight in it now. And the more weight it has, the more important it is to keep your tire pressures at the you know, the recommended tire pressure. If you're out here for 2 weeks and then you start to leave, your tires could be in serious jeopardy of having a blowout. Just getting to town to air them up. What I use is I have a battery operated air pump that you know, I plug into the old type of cigarette lighters. Laundry is a big deal. You know, having to use the plunger and the bucket method, it's almost impossible anymore. I mean, because of course you're just sitting outside cold, so you're having to really rush through it, and then you got to hang the clothes up. So we've been, you know, I have this little line here. We've been just doing a few items of clothes each day and lining it up and letting it dry inside because you can't take it outside. Your clothes would freeze. So thanks for watching. Click like if you liked the video, and happy travels.